Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of 10 for Tech, DoIT's web show that takes just 10 minutes to dive into bite-sized portions of technology. My name's John, and today I'm going to introduce you to a wonderful application called Dropbox. So let's dive right in. Dropbox is a great way to share files and folders across multiple machines. And just to show you how powerful it is, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to walk you through the steps to install Dropbox. So the very first thing you're going to do is open up your web browser of choice, and you're going to visit Dropbox.com. When you get to Dropbox, it's a very, very simple website, and the only thing that you need to do on this page is just download Dropbox. You'll follow the easy instructions here. Dropbox is actually already downloading in the background. So while that downloads, you can take a second and watch some training videos. They have a help center, they have user forums, all this kind of stuff that you can look at your leisure. But now that Dropbox is done downloading, I'm going to open it. And it installs just like any other app on a Mac. Now, I'll say right now, just to interject here, Dropbox is not a Mac-only application. It is for PC as well. I just happen to be using a Mac right now. So we will install it just like that. And apparently I already have Dropbox installed on this machine. So once I've installed Dropbox like that, you will now find it in your applications. So if we now go to Dropbox, once the Dropbox setup box comes up, you'll need to select whether or not you already have a Dropbox account. If this is your first time installing Dropbox, you will not have an account. So you would leave this first radio button selected and continue. This is the area here on this next screen where you will create your Dropbox. You will create your personalized information with your name, email, password. And then the last box here is a computer name. So this computer name would be just a unique identifier of the particular machine that you're on. Once you accept and read the terms of service, you'll click Continue. For this particular scenario, I already have a Dropbox account, so I'm just going to show you how that works. Now, it'll ask you which Dropbox you want to install. As far as space goes, you have three options. You can do a 2 gigabyte option, which is free, and will probably be suitable for most of you. If you need a little bit more space, you could do a 50 gig option, and that's $9.99 per month, and then the 100 gig version is $19.99 per month. And you could use any of those as you particularly choose. For right now, I'm going to stick with the free version and hit Continue. Next, you'll have two options of how you want to set up your Dropbox. You could do typical or advanced. Typical will just give you basic settings. Advanced will allow you to choose where your Dropbox is on your drive. But for right now, we're just going to stick with typical and click Install. Now, once we click Install, there's a 5-part tour that is given to us by Dropbox. But what I'm going to do right now is skip the tour and just show you some features myself. What you'll notice is that if you're on a Mac, you'll see a new icon up in your taskbar that is the Dropbox icon. Now, when you click on that, you'll have some options. You can open your Dropbox folder, you can launch the Dropbox website, you can view recently changed files. It also shows you right here what percentage of your allocated space you're currently using. And then you'll also have your transfer speeds and things like that down here. But let me show you just the nuts and bolts of what Dropbox is and just give you a very basic walkthrough. Let's say, for example, I have a file on my computer here that is, let's say it's too large for me to email, but I'd also like it on my computer at home. Well, here's what I do. I open my Dropbox folder, which looks like this. And then I would find this looks just like a folder on your computer. And let's say that I just go into a folder here, and I have a file here on my local computer. Let's see, I'll open a new Finder window so that you can see exactly what I'm doing here. And let's just say I'd like to take this PDF document called About Stacks. Let's just, for our purposes today, say this was a 50 megabyte file that would be much too large to email. Well, all I do is drag it from where I found it into my Dropbox folder and let go. And now, when I get home later, that file will be waiting on me in my Dropbox, just like I did it on my home computer. Dropbox also has another folder in its hierarchy of folders called Public. This Public folder is a folder that you can use to send files to other people. So whenever you create an email, you can include a link to a file that you have in your public Dropbox folder. That way you can have a large file that you can still email to someone. So let's say for our purposes today that this file entitled eligibility2011.doc is, again, a 50 to 60 megabyte file, something that's just too large for you to email directly to someone. Within your public folder in your Dropbox, you'll right-click and you will have a Dropbox submenu that was not there before. When you go to this submenu, you will see Copy Public Link. When you click that link, nothing appears to have happened, but what's happened is actually a link to the file has been created and copied to your clipboard, so that all you have to do is create an email and paste it. For this scenario, I'll just paste it in a text edit document just so that you can see what it will look like. So let's say I would just type a little message here. I'll go down a little bit and I will either Command V or right click and paste. And there is the file. And then once that goes over in the email, whoever you're sending it to will just click on that file and they'll be able to download that file directly. There are some other options with those types of files. You can set expirations so that the link will expire after a certain amount of days if you choose to do that. That's maybe if you're sending a file, if you're a designer, maybe you're sending a file to someone that you only want them to have access to for a certain period of time. You can use it for that as well. But the great thing about Dropbox, especially for me, is that it's accessible from practically any device you have. There's a Dropbox app for iOS devices. There's Dropbox for PC and Mac. I believe there's also Dropbox for Android. There are just so many ways that you can use this. If you are out and you need to show someone a document on a mobile device, you can do that all within your Dropbox. So Dropbox is really a great way to get a good amount of space. I mean, 2 gigabytes is a very good amount of space to have. And as you can see here, it's still populating my files from my Dropbox. And you can store anything, videos, movies, any kind of file that you would store in an ordinary folder on your computer can also be stored in Dropbox, because essentially it's a cloud-based folder storage system where you can store files and share files. Well, thank you for joining us today for 10 for Tech. Again, my name is John. If you have any questions about Dropbox or any other topic we've covered here on 10 for Tech, you can feel free to visit the 10 for Tech website, or you can contact me directly via email at jonathan.lloyd@uncp.edu. Once again, thanks for joining me today for 10 for Tech, and remember, it's really not that hard.